of life. You guys know Da Vinci. Do you know what he spent most of his life trying to figure out? I want you guys to know about a 6,000-year-old secret. 6,000 years, mankind has been trying to decipher this one little thing called the flower of life. Now, you know this is one of the oldest symbols in human history, right? This symbol was found in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, and it had been molecularly burned into the wall. And it's 6,000 years old. This same symbol has been found in the forbidden temples in China, sitting under the fufu dogs. And the foot on it, the flower of life, saying whoever controlled that flower of life controlled the universe. There were secrets in that flower of life that Da Vinci spent his whole life trying to uncover. There were secrets in that flower of life that Newton spent his whole life in secret trying to uncover. The same secrets that Pythagoras was desperately trying to uncover. But the problem was they kept seeing this in a two-dimensional space. They couldn't get it out of this two-dimensional frame, and as a result, they got stuck in this plane, a flat plane. Now, what Da Vinci and all of them wanted to do, they were trying to find a way to bring this flower to life, because what is inside of it? Well, apparently, there were secrets inside of it. Shapes, they kept the Merkaba and all of those other things out of it. But they were misled by something I think called a straight line. You guys believe in straight lines? You believe there's straight lines in the universe? Well, let me hit you with something. All energy in the universe is expressed in what? It's in motion. If something is still, there's no energy. Kinetic, right? All motion is expressed in what? You look at galaxies, are they expressed in straight lines? Expressed in vortices. All vortices are expressed in what? Waves. All waves are curved. Show me a straight line in nature. You show me where the platonic solids come from. Where do they have their foundations in our universe? Are there any straight lines? If you look at anything, there are no straight lines.
What? Did Terrence Howard just say there's no straight lines in the universe? Well, that is definitely a human perception. So come with me and we'll go deep.
The platonic solids are the basis of the construction of the universe, the construct of the universe. You don't necessarily see the lines, because the lines in the triangle, you have the singularity divided itself into positive, negative, and that one then created another negative. So you have now the triangle, the tetrahedron, because it's just not flat. It's a three-dimensional pattern, shape. So that's the first closed circuitry, you could call it, the first pattern created in the universe. And basically, from that triangle, you actually end up getting a sphere. And if you continue on with the polarity of the forces, you end up with all the other shapes. For example, you also have octahedrons, the cube, the hexahedron, which is the hexahedron, etc. So we don't see that, perceive that with our eyes. At a subatomic level, the atoms are structured in that way. You see, crystalline structures of salt, NaCl, right? So that's formed in a cube crystal connection of all of these particles, and therefore forming the element.
The compound.
Salt. So every element has a structure on a subatomic level. And the connections that we see, oh, it's a cube. Yeah, it's not, there's no lines that are actually visible there. We draw the lines so we can actually understand how they are all in this pattern. So you can actually say, oh, there's no straight lines. But the polarity actually is paired in a straight line. Every polarity is paired. And therefore, in between each of those, they form a straight line. But it's not that there is a line drawn that you could see with your eyes. Or let's say we could see at an atomic level with our eyes, if we could, right? We wouldn't see a line there even in a subatomic level. So that statement would imply that, oh, there's no straight lines. But in a sense, they are in a straight line. So just like the axis of the planet is in a straight line, but there's no line there, right? It's basically saying, let's look at the building. You're not going to see the beams of the building, which are in a straight line, and those are the bases of the building. And it's the same thing that we were talking about. Everything in the universe at a subatomic level would be those beams. Everything around it, then it becomes, the other shapes. Then, you see curves and everything else. But that you start with the basis of the building where it has the pillars. And those pillars are the photonic solids. So it is a matter of semantics that Terrence is using. And I understand, yes, in nature, because our eyes are now just not perceiving the subatomic level at this point. Now we're perceiving the building, the room, the walls, all the other shapes that fractalize from underneath all of that. So we in nature have to understand that, okay, I'm not seeing straight lines in nature, but the basis of it is formed from those polarities of the patterns of the platonic solids, which are, again, in a shape. If we would draw a line through it, it would be straight.
Although that's debatable because if you consider the crystals, you can also see straight lines there and in other forms like rocks and other. So that is up to debate. If you go and look at a subatomic level, then that straight line won't be that perfect as a geometry. So that is also another subjective point to debate.
So we have to understand that what are we talking about here? Semantics. There's no straight lines. Yes, I agree with that because in nature, straight lines don't occur naturally. But nature is also a fractal of the construct of the universe because, as above, so below, like he likes to quote from Billy Carson, and Billy Carson does not own that line or concept. It's just that he uses it a lot, and Terrence spoke about Carson talking about that as above, so below. So again, this is a point of view that he is showing us, but let's not make that into the earth is flat kind of statement. There are no flat lines because it's a point of view. Again, and a point of view is all at a quantum level as well, because everything at a quantum level, every particle can act as a node or it can act as a wave. It depends on the observer, because a particle at the fraction of a second that you see it, it all depends on the observer of how you're going to be observing that, and that's something that we speak about in the double slit experiment. So actually, a wave is made out of those millesimal, however, subatomic, subatomic levels. Each curvature of that frequency wave is made out of all those little particles, like making the whole wave. So the wave is the particle, one dot in it. And if you connect the dots, you can certainly create a straight line, not on the valleys, the ups and downs, but if you cross go across those curvatures, you can actually unite them again in a straight line. And that's part of geometry. And the universe is made of geometry. Geometry has straight lines. So it's about semantics we're playing here. So let's not start spreading, oh, there's no straight lines when there is. Remember, the building has the straight lines underneath it all. Our universe underneath it all has those straight lines. Again, it's not drawn, but it is a perspective that they are there. All right, this is my idea. And of course, it's a great opportunity to debate the construct of the universe being brought forth to all societies from all levels of understanding of spiritual concepts. And this is great. This is great that he's opening the Pandora's box so people can start understanding how our universe is actually created beyond what science has been limited to tell us, and which for a long time, it is something that is just known in the spiritual community. And I think Lawrence is just putting his voice into that, speaking about the flower of life, which actually is the pattern of source. I've written posts about it, so you can check my Facebook page, cosmicmessengers.com. I mean, not .com, it's on Facebook, Cosmic Messengers handle, group name, and there's 2 recent posts done on that, and there's no coincidence. Everything is a synchronicity of understanding that we are here learning day by day. And again, there's no synchronicity that I just recently wrote about this, since this topic that Terrence is bringing about is about the flower of life, but there's a lot of wisdom about that. And my perspective on it is that it is the pattern of the of source, where you will see all the multiverses in it, and therefore each of those nodes of those flowers are actually the black holes that leads to different universes. And that's a whole different subject, because he also says black holes don't exist. We do know by scientific methods that black holes exist. The event horizon is obviously been scientifically proven. What we don't know is what happens inside the black hole. We suspect what happens in there, but of course nobody has been there, will ever be, or it's not something that is observable. But they do exist. So again, we're talking a lot of playing with semantics, but we have to be careful in educating people about explaining what is behind all of these terms and concepts, so we don't get lost in just repeating the Earth is flat, or there's no lines, no straight lines. We need to be better than that. All right, just my point of view. As everybody, we should get together, as he wants, go to universities and speak about his point of view, and that's the beauty of it. Everybody has a point and has something to add to the equation, and I am not a mathematician, so on the math side, he can debate that with others, as he did in Harvard. Oxford, I'm sorry, and there were actually people questioning him. And again, they were saying to him, it's semantics that he is playing with. So you can watch that video. All right, thank you. Sending you love. Bye.
That's been the mistake. We've been looking at these straight lines as Euclidean way of thinking and missing the curvature of nature. So here we are, back with the curvature of nature. And you have all these little pieces. Now, this has always been an information system. So compare some of these points, take a point here, and say, well, what's the space in between all of these things? Now, they've said that all the in-between spaces, if this is the Earth and this is the moon right here, all this in-between space is filled with what? A void. There's nothing in the void. Well, I found that there is something in the void. Being able to define the entire electric field, plasmic field, and patent it, and the things that I discovered with that prove that the platonic solids, which our entire infrastructure is built off, were only averages and approximations, and that all of the postulates and axioms they've built off of are erroneous. And being able to present that, but also being given the blessing of defining the magnetic field, the feminine side.
So look at my Metatron. All 0-point energy nodes, and they are connected. Those lines don't exist, but for our sake, we connect them here so we understand how they are connected, how their energy connects. So there's flow of energy through that pattern. Therefore, it is running energy in a straight line. That's the key. And it is embedded in the, see the middle? Fantastic. That's the center point right there. Right there. So I was saying that's embedded in the tree of life. So this energy, these lines, this is, so let's say the glass here would be the tree of life. I mean, not the tree, I'm sorry, the flower of life. This glass sphere would be the flower of life. And Metatron is inside. And therefore, there's straight lines in the flower of life. If I understand you, Howard. Oops. You said there weren't any straight lines? Semantics. And math, math is base 12, so nobody is right. I know you have your concepts, and the mainstream science has their flawed science math as well. We're all here putting pieces of the puzzle together. So keep on putting yours, my friend, which is beautiful. But at the end, the whole structure needs to be restructured. The math needs to be structured to base 12. So maybe with you creating a buzz, maybe that Pandora's box can be finally broken and open. All right. Bye.